Coming back live right now, the wheelchair race has just gotten underway. As we're in break, they just gave them the start and the go. You're watching live coverage of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run here in Grand Rapids. Another beautiful day for a race.
And they are off.
Yeah, they've been kind of running a little bit ahead of schedule here. The hand cycle race already got underway. We expected them to take off at 8:10. They took off about 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And now just about 2 or 3 minutes later, and the wheelchair race is underway.
Those could be the toughest athletes out here today.
Yeah, no
I
doubt
agree.
about that.
I mean, that arm strength and the
Unbelievable. The drive that they have, and obviously people who've overcome a great deal and want to compete and get out there. And there's some of those guys
yeah.
who wouldn't mess with them.
Yeah. The finish of the 10K expected to come here in about 8 minutes. You're still seeing a lot of the 5K runners come across the finish line here, but the elite runners for the 10K should be coming through relatively soon here. And at last check, Clint Barron, veteran of the Hanson program, one of the most consistent runners in Michigan, is expected to come across the finish line. He was leading initially, along with Landon Peacock, who won the 5K already.
Live look now at the John Ball Zoo, where the 10Kers are running by right now. We just saw a little jump. I mean, if you have the energy at that point to give a little jump, you're doing okay.
Showing off.
Right.
Might want to stop by and take a ride on the funicular if you're a little tired.
Right.
My favorite word.
That's
in
your
West
favorite
Michigan.
word in the world.
Isn't it great to see leaves on the trees and the sunshine off those? I mean,
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
such a beautiful, beautiful morning here in West Michigan.
This is why we live here. You know, this is, I mean, I kind of endure the winters, and then this time
Endure.
comes around,
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Endure is the right word. Yeah.
and then I forget about the winters here as soon as a day like this comes over, because I'm just, fall in love with Michigan all again.
and the Riverbank Run is always one of those first signs that things are going
kickoff.
to change.
Yes.
Yeah, and this time, lots of times you have those unofficial starts to summer. Well, they've kind of come late or not come at all. So this might be it this year, the beginning of summer and the Fifth Third Riverbank Run.
But yeah, they look at that great side at the finish line. You started something, now you finished it. What an accomplishment, and a great big hug. And it's great. It's
Awesome.
just such a great moment for so many people when they finish what they set out to achieve.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This isn't one of those things like you were talking about here earlier, Jack. This is not one of those things that you just do the next day. You don't just say, hey, I think I'll run the 5K,
Right.
or I'll run the 10K or the 25. You start thinking about this months in advance, and you start preparing a little bit here, a little bit there. You start working up to it, and then you finally reach this moment, this goal that you have set out for yourself months or years before, and you cross that finish line. It has to be one of the most incredible experiences of your life.
And what's great is they've got programs through the Riverbank Run, training programs that show you, just a guide. Here's where you should be now.
Yep.
Here's where you should be next week. Here's what you should do to get to this point.
Couch
And
to
if you
5K.
follow those, typically you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you roll out of bed like Casey did and throw on some Google Glass, it's going to be a little
Casey.
more difficult.
He's still hydrating.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I see. He's had a bottle of water
And he
or
has
coconut water in his hands.
Those
I saw
rosy
it.
cheeks.
Well, we've got to get him ready.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be on the truck for the
Oh my gosh.
25K
Yeah, he's
and
gotta be
helping us out
hydrated
with our
for that.
broadcast.
The
So-
truck with no shocks after all that chocolate milk? Great. Okay, so let's go to Amanda Jarrett at the starting line right now. Hi, Amanda.
A lot of fun down here at the start line, things getting ready for the 25K, but we were just talking about preparing for any of these races. The 5K, I'm here with two first-timers from Grand Rapids, Matt and Ted. What made you want to do it this year?
Lived in Grand Rapids my whole life, never done it, felt like it was time to do it.
And we were talking about the energy down here. How did that feel when you took off this morning?
It was awesome. There were so many people, the band was playing, it was great. The energy really made it worth it.
And favorite and least favorite part of the race?
Favorite part definitely was the energy. It was exciting. Least favorite part was the last hill climb. Didn't really like that very much.
And Brett and Jack were just talking on set about some of the training, and this winter was pretty brutal. In fact, they had fewer people sign up early for the 5K. Kind of people deterred a little bit by the winter. I mean, how did you battle that?
Just ran in the cold. Warm clothes, and had these things for my shoes to keep me from slipping on the ice, and just went and did it.
Great. Well, congratulations. A great
Thank
day.
you.
Congratulations to both of you. Again, first-timers out here, returning runners, a lot of excitement as we get ready for people to take off here for the 25K very soon. We'll send it back to you, Brett and Emily.
Yeah, I don't
Right,
have
look there at John Ball Zoo again. That one of the most popular spectator places, of course, as well. If you get bored of watching the runners, you can take a look at the ducks. Or Nessie in the pond, right?
Yeah, you can take a look at Nessie. You also have to avoid all the droppings that are out there. If you are
Yes.
taking a look at the ducks, that's one of my favorite things. Take the kids to the park, you think it's going to be great, and then you're just dodging all the landmines out there.
But there's a lot to look at out there. Look at how busy it is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wonder, I don't have a percentage right now. It'd be nice if we did, of how many people this is their first race.
Right.
Amanda was just talking to the first timers out there. A lot of people that just, this may be the place where they get started running. This might, like Brian Calley was talking about, his first distance run here, a 25K that he'd ever done was at the Fifth Third Riverbank Run here. But there are a lot of people that just decide this is going to be the kind of that point, that jumping off point where I'm going to become a runner. And I'm just curious where that percentage is here in this race.
Yeah, I don't have a percentage for you, but I will tell you, if it's going to be your first race, maybe do the 5 or 10K.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And then graduate to it. That might have been a wise
or
move in
you
my
could
case.
shoot for the 25K and then just stop halfway through. You never know.
Yeah, you got to finish. You don't get the finishers. Trust me, you don't get the finisher's medal
You're right,
unless
no.
you finish
Unless
the
you
race
finish.
you started.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's a good point.
But it's interesting to see the difference between the really dedicated runners like Brian Calley, people who fall in love with it. Laura
Right.
Velasquez, another person, she's
Yep.
really in love with running. And then the people who do it for a personal challenge. I had that experience. I just wanted to show myself that I could do it. I only did the 5K, but when I completed it, it was a great feeling. It was a feeling of accomplishment. All I wanted to do was finish it, and I wanted to run the whole way, and I was able to do that the year after I had a baby. So that was my accomplishment. That's my running story, and I do enjoy running every now and then. Not in a competitive nature anymore, but that's my small running story, and everybody has a story.
And in my case, I challenged them to make me like running.
Right.
Because it was the last, I'd rather go get another root canal.
Yes.
When I started
Sure.
this. But as I started to do it, and as you get over that first hurdle,
Yeah.
that first mile, and the second day, then you go train and you do a mile and a half. And you start to build up that endurance. Suddenly it's not that difficult.
Yep.
Suddenly you find yourself enjoying it. As Brian Calley said, it's a great way to it's great. It's very therapeutic.
Yes, it is.
When you're running and you start getting into some more distances. And I really noticed I was a lot thinner at this time when I ran it
Sure.
that time.
Oh, yeah.
Because really, you can go on whatever diet you want, but unless you've got exercise
Jack,
with
here
that
comes
diet,
the finish of the 10K.
10K finisher.
Yep, and that's the Hansen shirt. So I believe that's Varon who crossed the
Clint
finish line
Varon?
first. Clint Varon, I believe.
He was
I-
leading this for quite a while here, so he's coming in now at the finish line. Wow, 10K done so quickly.
We'll find out shortly if that's indeed Clint Varon, but that's the Hansen shirt that we've come to know over the years.
Lucas Humphrey.
Lucas Humphrey. Okay, I was wrong.
Well,
Maybe
there
he's
you
with
go.
Hansen as well.
He's another kind of local, sort of Franklin, Michigan resident. Here comes the next person across the line here. So Lucas Humphrey, the winner of the 10K race here at Fifth Third
And
Riverbank
there's
Run.
Landon Peacock.
There's Landon Peacock. Yeah.
So a first and a third in the
Yeah.
same day.
Not a bad day. Not a bad day.
Pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Humphrey winning that race there. Where did Clint go, though? Let's check in with Mark Thompson. He's standing by at the finish line with the winner of the race. Hi, Mark.
Hey guys, I'm here with the winner of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run 10K race, Luke Humphreys, correct?
Yep.
Where are you from, Luke?
I currently live north of Detroit, Rochester area, but I'm originally from the Greenville area, and my dad grew up in Cedar Springs, so this is pretty much a homecoming for me.
How was the run today?
It was good, luckily for me, those guys are all run the 5K, beforehand, let the old man win one. So it worked out well for me.
What do you like about this race?
Just the atmosphere. Greg Meyer with the Boston connection and the Michigan connection is huge because you go to Boston, it's the same type of atmosphere you get here. It's just a big running community atmosphere, and people know the sport and they love the sport, and it's just good to be around that.
Any strategy for a 10K? You just pretty much try to go out.
Well, today I knew those guys. I'm about 10 years older than those guys, so I knew if it came down to a kick, I wasn't going to have a chance. So I had to kind of put the hammer down early and then hold on, make sure they didn't even think about coming after me.
Well, congratulations. We're going to let you catch your breath, and a great run this morning. And you did a double duty, right?
No, that was my buddy Clint. He ran the 5K and 10K.
So you just ran the 10. But,
yep.
Well, congrats to you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks
all right, back to you guys.
Luke Humphreys, your winner of the 10K. Really interesting talk there, saying he's about 10 years older than the other guys, had to start early, run hard, because he wasn't going to have the kick at the end there. That's really kind of a great strategy that paid off for him
What
today.
an accomplishment.
But you can't do that strategy unless you're in phenomenal shape. If you run out, you get out there, push yourself too much, just beyond your limit, suddenly you're going to hit that wall and they're going to be passing you by. So,
Right.
Yeah, sensational run for him, and first place finish. Those are always fun.
Yeah, it looks like the hare won this race this time around. Kind of unusual for that to happen.
I wouldn't
here.
exactly call Landon Peacock the tortoise.
No, I wouldn't either.
Not
Especially
at all.
after he did that 5K and then turned around and came
But
in
I
third
get you- I
place
get
in the
your
10K. No doubt. Well, we're getting ready here as we're going to continue to watch more of the 10K runners come across the finish line here. So next race, though, that's going to be up, 25K. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, our coverage of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run will continue.
Live look at the starting line here where the 25K participants will be kicking off in about 3 minutes. We just heard that 3-minute warning. We want to go back to Mark Thompson right now. He's at the finish line. He's been grabbing runners and talking to them just moments after they go through that finish line. Hi, Mark.
Yep, top 10K female finisher, Sarah Boyle. And where are you from, Sarah?
Brighton, Michigan.
How was your run?
It was good. It's warm out there today, but it was good.
Did you stay in the lead pack, or did you just try to break away?
There wasn't really much of a pack for the women, so I kind of was just chasing down the pack of guys ahead of me.
Well, congratulations on your run this morning. We want to get back over to Landon Peacock again, because you were in the 5K and then did the 10K. You said it's pretty tough on that 10K then.
Yeah, it was. I definitely had to stay focused to keep myself composed and just get across the finish line again. That's always a hard double. I haven't done something like that since conference in college. So.
Well, thanks so much again. Thanks so much to both of you guys. Congratulations on your runs this morning. Very good. All right, thank you. Back to you guys.
A live look at those people as they approach the starting line, the 25K. Just heard that 2-minute warning. What's going through the mind of people 2 minutes before running a 25K, Jack
We should
Doles?
have somebody who really knows.
Yeah,
That's Dathan Richards, three-time Olympian joining us. Dathan, great to have you as part of this.
Thank you guys for having me.
What is going through their mind right now? Are there nerves? Are you thinking strategy?
The nerves never go away. It doesn't matter if you're an Olympian or your first time. It comes every time. Even on the starting line of the 5K, I knew I wasn't racing, but I was starting to feel a little nervous.
So were you able to hold yourself back and do a jog, or did the competitive juices start to flow out there? You were about 17 minutes.
People kept asking me that, will you be able to hold yourself back? And I said, oh yeah, no problem. And I did early on, but all of a sudden you get towards the end and the instincts start kicking in, and I had to say, okay, wait a minute, I'm just gonna go a little easier here. So.
All right, so now race day, 25K, you're about a minute away. Strategy for a day like this in a 25K, you're in the elite group, you're up front. Are you bolting out of there, or how do you judge what pace you need to go?
Well, the athletes that are doing the elite race, they've been warmed up like they would any other race. I mean, they've probably done a couple miles, done some drills, strides, but the rest of the guys, this is a long way, so they got to conserve as much energy as possible too.
So who are some of the guys we're going to need to keep an eye on here today?
I think we definitely want to look at Chris Zielinski. He was the American record holder on the 10K. There we go, and they're off. Chris Zielinski, he's off on the far left, bright green Nike jersey. He was the American record holder in the 10,000 meters until a couple of years ago, and he's the fastest shorter distance guy in the race. And the other Americans, Crystal Landry he won the U.S. 10-mile championships, and he's actually trains over in Ann Arbor with his coach at U of M there. So he's another one to look at in the U.S. championship race.
And then how about some of the foreign runners that we have here today?
The international field, Julius Couture, he's won twice now, and so he definitely has the course advantage. He knows what he's doing, and he's got a very good PR. But also coming in, Samson Gazalba from Eritrea. He's just coming off the World Half Marathon Championships, and he is really good. So it's going to be a good field up front. But another one is Shadrach Biwott. He's actually a U.S. citizen now from Kenya, but he's ran 61:30 something earlier this year in the half marathon. So he's a very good contender as well.
Now, do you run across some of these guys? Have you competed against some of these?
Absolutely. I've been competing against some of these guys for years, and it's a small road race circuit. It's a tight-knit group, just kind of like not like other sports where you're in the hotel in the hospitality suite this morning. I was sitting there drinking coffee with these other guys, so we're sitting up there shooting the bull with Greg Myers, and so it's a close-knit group on the and that's why you see in the mass race too. You see these guys out here, and it's something where you can be on the street in the same race as the people running the U.S. Championship, the professional races. It's something special.
Dathan, I do have to tell you got under Greg's skin a little bit when you rubbed his belly and told him we'll take care of that for you.
Well, you got to rib him a little bit once in a while. He's been giving it to me ever since I got back here. So
that is funny. Yeah, it's really pretty incredible to have several elite runners living here in West Michigan. I understand you're moving back. What's the plan there?
Well, that's so exciting. Yesterday we were able to announce at the expo, which they're starting at right here. We were able to announce that we were going to move back, and everybody is so thrilled.
All right, take a look at the screen here, Dathan, and what do we have going on at the start?
Yeah, we definitely got the front pack forming up here. Early on, it's these guys are going to run probably 4:45, 4:50 a mile. So I don't know if we'll be able to see some splits, but definitely early on they'll tighten up. But as they get into the second half of the race, we'll definitely see some separation as they get into the hills over the Butterworth Hills, they call them, on the second half of the course.
So what's going to determine time-wise what's a tactical race and what's a really aggressive race where a guy's going to go for some speed for you? What are the splits you're looking for?
Well, I think we might see a guy like Chris Zielinski. He's, this is actually his longest race. He's never finished a race over 10K, I believe. And so he was the American record holder in the 10,000, but this is a completely different race too. So so he might be a little more cautious, but a guy like Julius Couture who knows the course, I think he's probably going to be checking his splits from his previous years as well.
We're looking at live results right now that are coming in on your ticker right there. You can see where people are finishing. These are people who have been running the 10K and their finish times. But once we do get into the point where obviously the 25K runners come across the line, you'll be able to see their results as well here. So obviously about at 38 minutes now after the 10K began for some of these runners.
So Dathan, tell us a little bit about your plan now. You're joining Grand Valley's coaching staff.
Yeah.
And you want to start an elite running program here.
Eventually that's the goal. I'm going to start with the Grand Valley State track and field program, which some of the guys here in this elite field actually have gone through there. There's some guys from Calvin as well. Mm-hmm. So there's some good runners in the area, and there's not much support for guys like that. It's a very top-heavy sport. People like myself can make a living doing it and stuff, but a lot of these guys, they just want a shot. I was talking to one of the guys, Shadrach Biwott, who's in this race, and he's a 61-minute guy, and he's a very good runner. Could make the Olympic team, but it's hard. There's not much support, and so I think I've been around it long enough, and you're seeing that more on the professional side. And you get events like this where you see all these people out here. I mean, there's 20,000 people. All at the expo has another 20,000. It's a thriving running community, and with facilities like they have at Grand Valley State and some of the other local colleges, it can be a great thing. It'd be a great place for people to train.
So what does it take to make more people into professionals?
the professional side, you have to develop them, young, but you want people they have to have a good path along the way. For me, I've made so many mistakes, and that's what I think is something that I can bring to a lot of these guys who are trying to get better, just want to have that shot.
What do you mean by mistakes? You're a 3-time Olympian.
Yeah.
Where'd you mess up?
I think about 9 stress fractures along the way and 3 surgeries. But you got to have good coaching, and I've bounced around a little bit from coaches. But you have to. I've learned from experience, and so that's you can't buy experience, and so. I think that's something I'd love to be able to give other people too.
Because there is a right way and a wrong way to run.
Definitely. Well, you have people even are going to find that out today.
Yeah.
This is their first time. Some of the people doing the 10K here, maybe they're going to do the 25K and they can learn, but it crosses over too, and from the professional side to the recreational side. So hopefully, that just inspires these people too to do better.
Yes.
I'm amazed at the toughness of runners. I remember one of the Olympic trials. You broke you broke part of your, was it the foot or?
Yeah, one of the bones of my feet. Yeah.
And just continued on. You had to finish to secure that spot on the Olympic team.
And that's the difference between American distance running now as it was back then. Back then I was running I just had to make the team. We've gotten so much better now in 8 years. And, races like the 25K here are part of this U.S. road racing circuit, and that's helped to build those opportunities of prize money where people start to get better. Because now, like in 2012, I actually missed the team in the marathon because I was hurt, and so I had to come back again in the track. And, it's very difficult, and it's a different world.
And so when you're running in an Olympic trials for a marathon, what's your pace? Are you at a 5-minute mile? Are you a sub 5 minute?
Well, so like when I set my PR in Chicago Marathon in 2012, right after the Olympics in London, I ran 2:07:47, and that's 4:52 a mile for 26.2 miles, and it's a different world,
Unbelievable.
When you're racing as opposed to training, are you following along on your watch? Or are you just going?
Some people, a lot of the people out here, they'll have splits along the way, so that is easier if you've got the start on your watch. But some people are coming from the back, and it takes them a couple minutes just to get to the start line.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have to have that off from their chip time, because the chip is on their bib number. So everybody out here in this race will be able to see splits later on if they want, as they go over markers on the road that shows their splits.
So that at least gives you an idea. Here.
But they also have GPS.
You're wearing
yeah.
It's not just a regular watch you have on there.
No,
either, right?
so this is a GPS watch that but it is a little tougher in the city here. It won't pick up through the buildings as well. But a lot of athletes will do that as well.
Yeah.
So.
You were talking about we're looking at the elite runners here towards the front of the pack, obviously. Talking about some of those hills that are kind of difficult here. We have a map of the course. Where did those come in? Right there it says Betterworth?
Yeah, the earlier part, you go down the south side of the river there. When you cross over the river, that's where it gets hilly. You come up to the Butterworth Hills, and then you come down into John Ball Park. And the last 2 miles, I think, is relatively flat, but they do finish up a slight uphill, which can be a difference. If we see a close race at the end, that could be the deciding factor too.
Okay, so if you were running this race today, you see right now there's a pack. How long do you stay with the pack? When do you start to make your move to gain a little separation?
Well, I think up there you see the person pushing the front is Tyler McCandless, and Chris Zielinski sitting right off his shoulder. So Tyler McCandless is actually pushing the pace right now, and he's more of a half marathon runner. So he wants the pace to be a little faster because Chris is sitting right off his shoulder.
Which one's Chris?
The big guy in the yellow
socks.
Yep. He has the high compression socks there.
Oh, is that what that is? I just thought he was going for some style.
And so he wants the pace to be slower because he's got the fastest PRs of anybody in the field at 5K and 10K. So if it comes down to a sprint at the end, he's got the advantage.
Got it left over.
Whereas really Tyler McCandless, who's pushing the pace, he's better at the longer distances, so he wants to get away from him before he gets close to the finish.
Yeah. How much of a mental game is going on in that pack right now? Because you obviously have your own strategy. You've outlined that for two of the runners here, but what kind of mental game is going on within the pack? Are they kind of jostling each other, or do you kind of like feint like you're going to run fast? You're going to sprint a little bit?
Some people will make moves and test other runners. You can tell a lot more when you're sitting behind somebody how they're breathing. If you're in front of them, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. And so it's the difference of being the predator versus the prey. If someone's sitting right on your shoulder, they have the advantage. They always have the advantage if you're sitting on someone's shoulder. You're drafting behind them, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just like car racing or bike racing. There is a very small difference of the wind that it pushes ahead of you. And then there's the mental part too. If you can see someone right in front of you, you can be on them, then at any point if you can go around them. They don't know when you're going to go around them though.
Nathan, I know if I'm running this race, I'm talking to whoever's around me, just trying to endure what I'm going through.
Is there any talking in this situation?
Are you guys conversing at all? Or
Definitely.
Is it just
That's
focus?
a lot of the Kenyan and Ethiopian guys you'll see in the race. That's an experience that I always have. They'll be talking to each other sometimes in Swahili, and you don't know what they're saying. And so it is an advantage.
They're talking about you.
They are. They're saying, "Watch out for him," maybe. But you can see them all together, and they might be talking a little bit.
We're seeing some runners peel off here. Are they
They're
going to get
peeling
some water
off.
or something?
I think they're fluids probably, or they could be cutting the tangents of the race too, because you can run on one side or the other, but the most direct line is still the best way to go. And so, that's what they're doing. They're cutting the tangent.
Okay.
See, they know that the course is going to take a turn, so they're getting over to the other side.
And obviously, you've seen a lead change here by doing so.
Yeah. Now up front, the lead has changed, and it looks like there's starting to be a separation of pace in some of the African runners. They're from Ethiopia, Kenya, and Eritrea, and you still have it's a race within the race because there's separate money for Open and U.S. only. So the U.S. only prize money is $7,000 for first, and it's $5,000 for the Open. But if you're an American and you win both, you get double dip, and that's $12,000.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Dathan. Speaking of money here, we got to make some. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back with more coverage of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run. Taking a look at My Team Triumph as they get ready to take off in this race this beautiful morning here in downtown Grand Rapids.
And to me, this is the heart of the race right here.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is, again, just shows you what this race is all about. And first, you see this, the arm sleeves they're all wearing, that's in honor of Don Kelly. Don Kelly was a guy who wanted to run with My Team Triumph. And this was a movement that started here in Grand Rapids at the Fifth Third Riverbank Run in 2008. Terrence Rubin, Wayne Brown, Tara Julian, Lisa Staples, and Ron Robb started this in 2008. Now there are 28 chapters across the country, one in Canada and one in the Netherlands. And you see the athletes in the chairs, those are the captains. They could not compete in something like this without a group like My Team Triumph. All the people that are pushing them, they're the angels. And there are 16 captains this year. There are 50 angels. And it's incredible what they get out of this. You're doing this, it's a selfless act, and you do this for someone else. And they're gonna push these guys through this race to the finish line for the 25K and provide them with just a life experience that's amazing. And the concept of this started with is it Dick and Rick Hoyt? Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
And, they would run the Boston Marathon together. The dad would push his son, giving him that opportunity. That gained worldwide fame, and it's so inspirational. And that's what this is. And it's such a credit. Terrence Rubin, I spoke to him yesterday, and just the passion he has for these athletes and for this movement. It's just a fantastic thing.
Welcome back to our coverage here of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run. Here I'm Brett Thomas, along with Emily Litter, Jack Doles, Dathan Ritzenheim, a three-time Olympian, providing us some incredible analysis of the race that's been going on here so far.
Yeah, the elite race is kind of already taken off, and they're definitely taking off down the riverside. But we got a whole group of over 6,000 people in the 25K, so it's a big race.
Yeah, another look at the leaders now as we have from our truck we're being able to provide live coverage of this whole thing, and there certainly has been a lot of separation now, hasn't there, Dathan?
It looks like it. It looks like the only American that I see in there is Chris Zielinski hanging off the back, and I think actually Shadrach Biwott is in there as well. He's right in there in front of Chris Zielinski as well, and Shadrach, he's a really good contender too. So it's a two-man race, it looks like right now, for the U.S. title, but there's a good group of 8 of them still as they separate through the lower side of the river here.
So just over 18 minutes into the race, where does it start to? Where do you start to feel it?
Well, they're at about 4 miles. They're going to be coming up on 4 miles probably pretty soon, and so. For these guys, I mean, 25K is a strange distance because it's in between that, half marathon, where you start to get into a little bit of metabolism, where in the marathon people just bonk. You don't really do that in the half marathon at the elite level, but it can happen maybe at 25K. So they will definitely feel it in the last 3 miles.
We want to check in with Terry DeVore right now. She's at Calder Plaza. Let's see what she has to say. Hi, Terry.
Well, hey, you know what? It's an interesting juxtaposition, I think, of the perspective. We're watching the elite runners, and down here at Calder Plaza, it's the gathering point. It is the post-race festivities where you're seeing most of these runners who've done the 5 or the 10K, obviously. A lot of these groups are now having fun, hanging out. The cool thing for us is we witnessed a lot of great moments down here, including a wedding proposal. The bride and the groom, or the bride-to-be and groom-to-be, had run the 5K together. They got here. The girl had no idea that it was coming at all. Their families were all surrounding. She thought they were just taking a picture in front of the Riverbank Run sign, and he got down on one knee, and there was not a dry eye in the place. So just incredible. As I was walking over here from where you're broadcasting at the starting point, so many people were stopping me with tears in their eyes saying, I've just run my first 5K. Or they're wearing shirts that are in memory of someone who's passed away, or they're part of a group effort. So it really is an incredible event that's going on. And of course, the celebration of the Riverbank Run in high gear in downtown Grand Rapids. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Terry. More stories of inspiration, and we're looking at that right now at the start line with My Team Triumph, as we've talked about. Let's watch them begin.
And while they're going, I just want to share one story on a My Team Triumph, one of the stars of the show. I believe he ran the 5K today, Johnny Agar. Sensational kid. And today, Johnny his dad pushes him, Jeff Agar, a former minor league pitcher, and we've featured Johnny before. Well, today, now Johnny's got cerebral palsy. He will be walking the last mile of the 5K. He's done this now in a couple of races. That's Johnny right
there. We're looking at him.
Yep, there's Johnny right there. So he's going to walk the last mile. His dad, they'll stop. He'll get out a walker, and the exertion he'll put forth to get to that finish line, you won't believe it. Casey was able to put a GoPro camera on his walker for one of the races he finished recently, just to see. Johnny's
let's go
one
with
of my heroes
89
in West Michigan. Incredible.
Yeah. Okay.
ESPN picked up the story,
right?
And they did a long feature on him as well. And if that guy right there, Johnny Agar, doesn't inspire you, nothing can. Just a sensational kid,
Yeah.
And it's,
you're right.
To get to the level he's gotten to, the commitment it takes from both parents. Every time they bring him to a therapy session, and it's grueling what he goes through. It's grueling. Every therapy session he goes through.
All right, this is the only guy.
Mom's got to be there.
Yep.
They've got to support him. They've got to get him through. He's homeschooled. Johnny's been accepted to Davenport University.
Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic. You're absolutely right about that, though, because this isn't just a story about a heroic effort by somebody who's overcome difficulty. Their parents or support group have also overcome so much in order to get them to this place.
And that's Jeff Agar, who will push him right there, his dad in the blue shirt. And it's just sensational to watch those two go back and forth. And when we did the story with Johnny, we brought him in. He said his lifelong dream was to become a sportscaster. That's what he wanted to do. So when we talked to him, he just said, "I'm coming for you."
So we brought him. He might have a tough time doing that. There are a lot of guys that have said, "I'm going for you, Jack," and they haven't been able to do it.
And he did a fantastic job.
Oh, you did?
Delivering the sports for us.
We're back out on the course right now, the 25K course, as you see the leader pack right there. And what are we looking at right now, Dathan?
Right now, number 37 there is Julius Koske, and he was a late entrance into the race, actually, so we don't have much on him. But number 84 is Jordan Chipkanga, and he's from Zambia, and so he's actually training in the U.S. down in Flagstaff. So he's based here. He probably has his agent here, and so that's a lot of these guys. They might have the same agent, and so they come into this race and.
I think it's really interesting because he's working to become a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are actually, just like Shadrach Biwat, for example. He's trying to come in because there are a lot more opportunities for U.S. runners, and a lot of these guys run at U.S. colleges, and so it's a great opportunity for them. They get assimilated into the American culture, and they want to stay here.
Okay, let's go to Casey Jones right now. He's on the back of that truck with no shocks, right, Jack Doles? And he has a really great view of the leaders. Casey?
Guys, right now you're looking at that lead packs just behind me. We heard Dathan say earlier in the race that depending on the splits of these miles was going to dictate how competitive and fast of a race. He was saying anywhere between 4:45 and 4:50 was going to be a fast, competitive race. Well, just to give a little perspective, that first mile they ran was 4:49. The second mile a little slower at 5:03, but these last 2 miles, miles 3 and 4, you saw that pack of 14 dwindle down to just these 6 lead runners right now. They ran a 4:41 split and then a 4:40 split there on mile 4 as we're coming up now to mile 5. Talking with some of the race scouts here on the truck about these runners, they said that they're making a little bit of a push before the actual push of this race, which will come before those hills, the highest elevation here on the Riverbank Run 25K, right around mile 9.5 or so, and look for an even bigger push to me being right there. Right now, just those 6 runners leading the pack right now. Last year's winner, Julius Katir, has fallen back a bit. Chris Zielinski, the American, his first ever 25K, one of 2 Americans to have run the 10K race under 27 minutes, has fallen back as well. So just 6 runners right now leading the pack as we approach the turn here, that first turn on the race, guys.
Thank you so much, Casey. Here, Dathan, when they said 4:40, 4:41, you kind of...
It's heating up for sure, and I think that'll probably be pretty close to what they'll average throughout the race. So they may slow down throughout the hills, but they'll try to pick it up again as they get closer to the finish. And you'll see some breakaways too. You'll see someone probably. It's always a good place to make a break up or down a hill.
Let's get out to Coco McAvoy. She's not far from where those runners are going to be running by here shortly, just about a mile from where they are right now. Coco, what are you seeing?
Good morning, Brett. Like you said, runners are just a mile from where I'm standing right now, and what a beautiful day that we're experiencing here for Fifth Third Riverbank Run. I am at Johnson Park, just off 28th Street and Wilson. You can see quite a few people have lined up here, getting ready to see the 25K runners. It is a beautiful day. We are all excited out here. There's music playing, great energy, people cheering. So let's talk to some people in the crowd right now. Hi, sir. So who are you here for today?
Well, I'm here for my daughter, Allison. She lives in Chicago and she likes to run races, and this is her first Riverbank run. So
okay, and it's a beautiful day. Is this your first time being out here?
It is our first event as well, and we do a lot of t-ball and soccer besides. So anyway, thanks, and we really like you on Channel 8 too. So.
Well, thanks. I'm glad you like me. I'm liking you guys.
You really do a good job. So
well, thanks. Looks like I made some new friends out here this morning as well, you guys.
Sounds good. Go, Allison.
Cheering for Allison. Yeah. Has she been training a lot?
Oh, she's been working day and night. So yeah, she's in good shape, and she's. I think she's going to try for her personal best today, so we'll see.
All right, well, we'll be cheering for her in just a couple minutes. We will be seeing the 25K runners out here as well, and we'll make sure to bring that to you. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Coco. Right now we're going to head to break. When we come back, more live coverage from the Riverbank Run. Welcome back to our extended coverage live from downtown Grand Rapids of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run. I'm Emily Linnert alongside Brett Thomas, Jack Doles, and Dathan Ritzenheim. Thank you so much for joining us. You're adding so much to, and I'm learning so much today about running and distance running, and there's so much to it.
Well, you know, this is a great race, and sometimes I think there's a lot of great races out here, but this one's close to our heart. You know, but this is really the big professional race that we have in town, and so you know, it's great to be able to have that U.S. Championship race in here too. But having the international feel is fun, and for me especially, I've raced against a lot of these guys, so I like to watch this part too, as well as the rest that's going on.
Yeah, we're looking at the projected times for each leg of the race on the map that you're looking at there right now. They, I guess, are probably around that number 8 on the map at this point.
Yeah, I believe they've crossed over the river now, so they're definitely in the second half of the race.
You can see right here, this is kind of a different perspective. You can see fans and people cheering along the route, and also the vehicle that holds a lot of the media so that you can see the racers and the people at the top of that race there. You can see Casey Jones and Miranda.
Dathan, I know the average runner gets a huge boost from those fans on the course. How about you guys? I mean, when you're out there competing, are you just so focused, or do you feed off of that energy?
Absolutely. The race, that makes or break the race for an athlete like myself. When I'm out there, the cheering is amazing. You know, like when I went to the Chicago Marathon these past 2 years, I mean, being in the Midwest, they get so many people out there, and they're yelling, "Go Ritz" out there, you know, and they're yelling, and they're coming down the straightaway. That can make a huge difference. And so, as we see a lot of people lined out there, it just gives you energy when you're really hurting later in the race. The
elite athlete's going to be coming around the corner here at Johnson Park. Here, another live look, another live perspective. That's the lead vehicle. That's what Casey Jones is riding in, and then we have another vehicle here too. Comes up alongside there.
And you can
so
see
the runner should be coming.
And you can see that has the clock on the top, so the athletes in the lead can follow the pace car if they don't want to look at their watch for splits as well.
Also helps you not get lost.
That's right. How important is it, speaking of that, Jack, how important is it to know the course, if this is kind of more of a home course for you? Does that make a huge difference?
The first runners just came by.
Definitely. That makes a huge difference. If you know the course, you can expect when there might be a sharp turn or hill like that, and it might be a good place to break away. But it makes a difference for your recreational runners too. I mean, if they've been out there training throughout the winter, you know where the hard parts of the course are.
So does somebody from out of town actually study the map? Drive it, maybe?
The professional athletes will. They'll actually go on a course tour. Some of these guys, you have Julius Koskai, number 37. He's still pushing the pace, and Christo Landry, he's actually hanging on still. He's an American that trains over in Ann Arbor with a U of M program, and he's hanging in there as well. So he's hoping to be able to double dip on that prize money. I wouldn't be surprised if he was on that course tour they took these guys on yesterday.
Okay.
So you got 5 runners there down. Is that 5 or 6? That's 6. 6 in that lead pack.
Yep, and in the red in the back, I think that is
5.
Number 3. That is Shadrach Biwat. So Shadrach Biwat in the red, and Christo Landry sitting right behind them. Both of them are still vying for that U.S. championship title.
Well, Jordan Chipmanga right now is in the lead. We'll get that name figured out.
We'll work on that one. We're going to take a break, and we'll get that one figured out. Stay with us.
Welcome back. As you take a look at the leaders of the 25K right now, we want to go to Mark Thompson. He's at the finish line, a place that these guys are running to. So Mark, how's it going at the finish line right now?
Well, it's a busy place here at the finish line, Emily, and just the joy on people's faces when they cross that line, just such a sense of accomplishment here. But there's also a lot of stories that come out of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run. We've been bringing you them all morning. We're here with Travis, is it Bravada? Yep, and he's from Kentwood. And tell me about, you ran the 10K. Tell me about who you ran for today.
Well, I ran for my buddy Dave Warson. He was in the Navy SEALs, passed away. I couldn't be with his family and all his buddies in Illinois. They're running the Tough Mudder this weekend, so my sister-in-law grabbed me and dragged me out here to do this. So I figured, why not run for Dave?
And you may have been dragged out here, but how's the run, and what's the atmosphere like out here?
Oh, it's great. This is the first year I've been down here. I love it. I'm definitely coming back. I enjoy. Yeah, I love it.
Well, congratulations for finishing that 10K and running in honor of your friend.
Hey, thank you.
All right, thanks so much. All right. Back to you
All right,
guys.
Thank you so much, Mark. Live at the finish line. Let's check in with Terry DeBoer, the Calder Plaza. Good morning, Terry.
Well, this is a great gathering point where people are coming after they have finished, after they've crossed the finish line. And there are a lot of people running for different organizations or different missions. And we're joined here by Christian. You are running with a group of people in honor of one of your coworkers who passed away. Tell us about that.
Well, Chad Sheppa, he was a coworker of mine. He was a All-State runner at Cadillac High School years ago. He passed away last March unexpectedly, and myself and his wife and some friends just got together and started running for him because he was a good runner.
And so does that make this more meaningful to you to be a part of this effort?
Yeah, definitely. It gives us something to run for, you know. And last year I did the 25K because he always wanted to do that, never got a chance. So, yeah, this year just did the 10K. So.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. A great job out here. And you know, so much of that spirit of togetherness, camaraderie, teamwork, team building is what is a part of this. So of course we're watching the elite runners do the 25K, but for the 5K, for the 10K, it really is about coming together in a sense of community, which makes the Riverbank Run such an incredible event every year.
All right, Terry, thank you. Let's check in with Amanda Jarrett now. She's live at the John Ball Zoo at the park there. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Emily. That's right. The party continues here. You can hear the music. We have volunteers out here working hard all morning. We're joined here live with Bill Allen and several others, and just talk about the energy out here this morning. Just a great year.
It's a lot of fun. This year especially, the weather's ideal. No rain, no freezing cold, no blistering heat. It's perfect, and got such a great group of volunteers that come back year after year from the public schools, and just individuals that hooked up one time or another and keep coming back. And it becomes a family, and it's a lot of fun. We just cheer on the runners. Michael Sack, who organizes it, brings his own sound system. He's a runner himself, used to compete, so he knows how to motivate them, and he gets everybody fired up so we can cheer the runners on, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you guys are returning volunteers, right?
Absolutely. This is probably 5 or 10 years for each of us.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for your time this morning, and thanks for volunteering your time. And again, we're going to be here as the 25K runners pass through mile 13, so stay with us. Right now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, we're going to check in with Coco McAvoy, too. We have people stationed all around the place. She's at Johnson Park. So, Coco, what are you seeing out there?
Good morning, Brad. You can